Whoa, I'm on. Amazing. Just getting everything set up here. That's the real kicker, if you guys can hear me. Okay. I want the mic to be Hey, Sherry. Hi, I'm just getting it all set up. I don't have this live stream thing all figured yet. It's few odds and ends. That's funny. I said hi, Sherry, and Siri thought that I said, hey, Siri. Okay, is it coming through here or here? It's coming through there. Okay, that's not ideal. Okay, sound preferences. Testing 1 2 1 2. Hey, that's a good mic. Nice. Okay. Get the camera angle all done up. Right here. Nice. Nice. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you should be able to hear me and see everything that I'm doing. But I'll be interacting with you guys through the chat once everybody shows up. Well, I've got you here. Let me set this. And can you guys hear the piano all right? Does the piano come through pretty good there, or how does that sound? I wonder. Is the internet put off? This one does. Not the studio edition. No, it doesn't. Unless. Oh, it does. Okay. So that's what I'll do then. All right. Input. These. Yeah, do this. I'll be right back. I think that. Okay, let's see here. Testing 1 2 1 2. Test 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Alright. 1 2 1 2. That's good input level. Okay. Nice. That's awesome. Okay. Solid. Working the best it can here. That's awesome. Wonder, does this twisting it the right way might help? 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1. Wish I could see the future clear. I can't see past another year. Cool. This is awesome. 2 people already. Welcome, guys. We're officially starting in 13 minutes. So I'm just doing a bit of setup here, getting it all put together. I'm going to end the stream here for a hot second and do a bit of warm up for my voice. So I'll be right back, guys. That, Mr. Parkinson, would be because I was muted. Here I am. Sorry, I was just announcing it on my Instagram and Facebook streams there. Get some more people up in here. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Do you like jazz, Zach? Zach, that's entirely up to you and the rest of the chat. The kind of idea, I got the idea from Music About Blanks. If you've seen him, Zach, you feel like you'd be the kind of guy who does watch his stuff. But I'm gonna ask you guys questions and get your opinions on stuff. And we're just gonna write something from whatever we're feeling. So it really depends on what you guys pick as a subject. Will it be goofy or not? Who's to say? Whatever genre we pick, yeah, it's really just up to you guys. Whatever we're feeling. My first question, if you guys want to start thinking about it, we'll probably wait for a few more people to show up here. But my first question was going to be, what kind of feeling are we going for? Do we want a sad song with a lot of minors? Or do you want something that's more happy? We do a. So I already kind of wrote that one, but you know what I mean. We can figure it out. Do something that's very Mixolydian, Yes, Zach. We always write sad songs. Actually, our last song that we wrote together was really sad. Didn't it end up being about somebody's mom dying? From the perspective of a rocking chair. I think that was the last one we wrote together. Is that right? Or did we write something since then? That's a fair point. Yeah. Do something cheery. Just also wanted to show you guys, this is what I use to warm up. Toledo's got us using these lovely straws, and you blow into them, and you make a note. It's just a good time. They just bring a little more fun to your day, especially the hard straw. I came home from getting this one, and I gave it to Lila as a flower, but she said she didn't want it. It's a little bit covered in spit. We got some eggs this morning. We make lots of food. We did the Passover thing last night. It's been a lovely time. I do typically write on the piano, Joseph. I brought my guitar just in case, because sometimes guitar riffs and stuff are kind of nice. But I find I get a little bit too distracted with my guitar with just playing scales and crap. And so I tend to come to the piano because I gotta actually think about what I'm doing chordally, and then I can kind of spice it up afterwards. It's kind of the thought. Hey, we're up to 5 people. Got a few people. So far we've said something happy, eh? Well, actually, you know what? I forgot to add one thing to the event itself. I don't know that I can do it now. Yeah, I don't think I can. Elusive minor major 7 chord. Yes, Zach. The minor major 7. I don't know if we can pull this off. Hold on. Ooh, that's spicy. I thought we're gonna make that into a major song. We could do something like start off with a major 7 chord. Go down to the minor. That's definitely a Daniel Caesar song. Yes, I confess I'm a mess. Da, 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 da. I don't remember the words. Resolve to the minor 6. Oh, weird. The minor 6 of G, I guess it would be. Yeah, there you go. 7. That's spicy. Yeah, he's watching me. He's making sure you write kosher songs. That's the prairie police checking our theology, you know. We could write a song about him. Looks like a Horatio, you know. Oh, you mean the parsimonious voice leading? Oh, you mean the Daniel Caesar song? Gotcha. That's it. Lots of parsimonious stuff in that one. It is a beautiful song. Actually, we totally could. It's technically not stealing. If we just use the one chord. That's very fair. We do steal most of our ideas. That's generally how we do it in songwriting. So we heard 2 ideas. Something happy, but it sounds like from Zach's chords a little bit like melancholy behind it. And then so far for ideas, we're going to write a song about this guy. He might be a Horatio. I find they usually come together, Sherry. I'll usually just kind of play it. Like if I have some music, I'll play it, and then kind of the lyrics will come along with it. There's been a couple times where I've had lyrics first or had music first. Actually, on the record that's coming out, Sea of Lights started off as a poem that I actually wrote descending into Calgary one night, coming back from a break or something like that. I don't exactly remember why I was flying, but I was flying into Calgary for some reason anyway. And then there's another song, Join the Club, where I had this bluesy chord progression on the piano that I'd been stuck on for years, and I finally made lyrics for it after I think I had 2 years. I was sitting on it. Yeah, so it's kind of like a pentatonic thing, and then I eventually figured out lyrics from it. I was just hanging out with a friend one day, and he was just like, "Yeah, join the club, man." And I was like, "That's it. That's what I'm writing over the song. It fits perfectly, you know." Join the club. It worked great. That's the question that everybody asks Rachel. I get it all the time, so I've developed an answer for it. Welcome, by the way. It's good to have so many people here. I like the potential, the song title, A Portrait of a Gentleman. I like that. It's got something to it. Portrait of a Gentleman. I feel like you need some really regal chords for that, you know? You have to get a little bit away from the jazz. You need some That's a minor chord. You don't do like a James Bond style. Oh boy. I don't actually know that one. Hey, it's Sue. How's it going? Nice. There's quite a few people in here now. Gotcha about the iPad. Yeah, no problem, man. Come and go as you want. Descending chromatic chord prog. Ooh. Spicy. Oh, hey, Grandma. How's it going? You guys hanging in down south there? Wait for you guys there. Oh, good. Good. Yeah, so we got a pretty solid group here. I think we can start doing some writing, and people kind of come and go as they want. So I'm gonna do. I usually do all my writing on my computer, but I'm streaming from my computer right now. So I'm gonna do all my writing on my phone. So if you see me texting away, it's because I'm putting it here. It's because you typed it in, eh? Yeah, everything is gonna be through chat today. If we wanted to actually do some co-writing thing, if people wanted to do more of it and they're interested, we could do something on Zoom eventually. But I figured I'd just stream this and then have you guys chat in the comments, and then I would just talk at you guys. I think it's a good setup for now. But yeah, so far we've talked about should be something kind of happy, but with a little bit of some spicy melancholy stuff in there with that minor major chord. Minor major chord. Yeah. We talked about writing a portrait for this guy. Portrait of a Gentleman. Here, maybe I should pull it out and get some inspiration. Hold on, guys. Whoa. Look at that. Look at this Portrait of a Gentleman. That's inspiring. That is utterly inspiring. I didn't realize how glorious his mustache was. I think we're going to put this right behind me. That's some inspiration. I'll try not to block him. You could write a song about his glorious mustache. This is great. All right, so I'd say let's start with some music, and then we can start throwing some lyrics down. Maybe something chromatic descending. For those of you who aren't super musical, that's you'd go down the piano each note and form a chord over it. Or you could do something that's like diatonic, so you go on me. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are strong, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me. Yeah, you get the gist. So something descending. That's kind of something. Father, welcome to the stream. Quite a few people here now. So to update people one more time, so far we've talked about writing a happy song about this guy, including this chord progression. And we've noted his glorious mustache. C major 7 / B, A minor 7, B flat, F2, F minor major 7, F minor 6. I see what you're saying. All right. Yeah, that might be all right. So we started with C. That's an E minor 7. I'm going to resolve that suspended 2 and then do the minor major 7. Yeah, that's not a half bad chord progression. You guys want it pretty fast, or do you guys want to like stay on it for a little bit? You know, because we can do like a. Maybe do like a. That's not what I want. It's got a nice little pull. Out of time and then kicking a groove. Ooh, like an ad lib, yeah. Something like a long time ago, there lived a man, and his name was Squirrely Dan. And he ran out of time. Horatio von Horace. We'd have to have a different rhyme scheme. So let's go to the chorus. There you go. Horatio Van Horace. He doesn't look like a squirrely. No, not at all. I just improvise things. So I end up with really bad lyrics that I eventually fix. That's kind of the number one rule of songwriting is like good songs aren't written, they're rewritten. So that's a big part of what we do is we write really bad songs and we make them good. I call it polishing garbage all day. I suppose I could also be working at the dump, but you know, haven't ever tried that. Babylicious Billy. Oh my word. Bodacious maybe. I don't know if Babylicious quite fits the tone. That's great. It was painted by Beth Hogg, apparently, in December 2nd of 1977. That's what it says. The man's in blue. He's wearing a bow tie. I think it's a weird looking bow tie, but it's still a bow tie. Gotta get that alliteration. Yeah. So we're gonna start off with this ad-lib section. Ad-lib means just like slow and without time. At your liberty in Italian. We should start on 6 maybe. Time ago, back in 1877, there lived a man named Bill. And he made his way up to heaven. But that's not how he lived his life. Heaven and back again. Oh, that could be interesting. Yeah, mustache just this side of heaven. It got shaved off when he got there, right? Can't have that kind of facial hair in the Holy Land. Ungodly hair. Sorry, Uncle Annie. A little more vibrato. That's the beauty of the Wurlitzer. So you can give it more vibrato. Supertramp used to use these all the time. Can we have kippers for breakfast? Mommy dear, mommy dear. Yeah, sidetrack. It's pretty much most of my songwriting is just sidetracks left and right. So yeah. Back in 77. There once lived a man. Back in 1977. Said he died and came back from heaven. I don't know the blow, but his mustache is a joke. I extend out to you guys on that. Heaven, he went back, made his way to heaven and back again. 1963, yeah. Doing Alive. Big hugs in a second. I hear you say that in the group chat, but I'm really confused because I'm not keeping up with that. His mustache was a joke even in 1977. All right, yeah, I can get behind that. We could name him Evan. Something Evans, you know? There lived a man. There lived a man back in 1877. He once died. Sir Evans has to come before he died. Something about you can't judge a book by its cover. Colonel Evans. Yeah, could be a colonel. He doesn't quite have military stuff, but he could be a colonel. I don't know, Jude, does he look like a colonel to you? Or you're all in bombardiers over there, right? Don't judge a book by its cover. Horatio Evans. Nicholas Evans. Oh, okay, that's a throwback. Reginald. Side businesses. Reggie, my man, Reggie. I actually know Reggie. So, there once was a man back in 1877. I'm gonna save the that minor major 7 chord because that 4 really pulls back to this the 1 nice there. That F major 7 wants to go back to the C6. It's got that A. Even if we did we could do the F over A maybe. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think I might invert that. See you next, Sue. Good to have you. I might invert that F, make it an F over A. Yeah, that works pretty good. Yeah, and then we go back to this. There once was a man back in 1877, and he died and made his way to heaven. He came back again, and he called himself Sir Evans. But his mustache was a joke. His mustache was a joke. He couldn't last a second. It's not quite a perfect rhyme. It's an additive. I think it's an additive rhyme. Don't judge a book by its cover. Huh, how can we get that in there? Once was a man, lived in 1877. He had a name, but everybody called him Evans. He couldn't last a second in heaven. He went to heaven, but he couldn't last a second, because his mustache was a joke. Heaven wouldn't have the blow. See, Evans, there's something to that. You went, because that way we speed up the rhyme scheme too, right? If you start rhyming more words closer, it makes everything seem faster. We call it accelerating rhyme scheme in songwriting. So this idea of like, he went to heaven. Oh, sorry. He went to heaven, but he couldn't last a second. His mustache was a joke. Heaven couldn't have the blow. Are we gonna go for the mustache thing? I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is heresy. I thought he was supposed to be here to watch over the heresy. I think heaven accepts mustaches. I hope so. They don't have to be clean shaven to go in heaven. Off the mustache thing. Mind you, it is a joke song, so who cares about theology in a joke song, right? Something about we can give it some groove after that too, so it can kind of pick up. Was a man who lived in 1877. He had a name, but everyone just called him Evans. He went to heaven, but he couldn't last a second. Just this side of heaven. That's fair. I guess it doesn't have to be theologically correct. Just this side of heaven. Sorry. He went to heaven, but he couldn't last a second. His mustache The whole point of the song is that everybody's clean shaven in heaven. Facial hair is a sin. Yikes. Sorry to anybody with facial hair in the chat. Zach, you better shave off that beard, man. It's theologically too good for us earthly folk. Oh, so you only have the mustache in heaven because it's so glorious. A little bit. Just as long as you don't get a soul strip, Zach, then we're fine. Shaved it off and went broke? Yeah, maybe. He went to heaven, but he... Sorry. We only had him for a second, then he made his way to heaven. All that you don't know, was it mustache was a joke? No. Shaved it off and went to broke. It's too good for earthly folk. We had him for a second, but he flew away to heaven. He was too good for earthly folk. The angels were jealous. Yeah, maybe. I think I like this idea of his mustache being too good for heaven. I think we should go that route. We have he was too good for earthly folk. Something about artichokes? So zealous was he about the mustache that the angels couldn't help but be jealous. That is a good rhyme. Usually when I get stuck like this, I go to Rhyme Zone, but if I did that, then you would be stuck. Oh no, Zach. Zach just sent me a picture. I'm afraid. Oh, don't tell me you actually did a goatee. Zach. Oh boy. That actually doesn't look that bad on you, you know? I expected it to be worse, but it's not awful. There you go, internet. That's a picture of Zach. Congratulations. So something about his mustache. No problem, Zach. I think we should write some of this down because I'm super forgetful, and if I don't write it down, I'll forget what we already have. So I'll write down the lyrics. There was a man who lived in 1877. He had a name, but everyone just called him Evans. We had him for a second, then he flew away to heaven. He was too good for earthly folk. Something about maybe his... Yeah, they called him Sir Evans. Mr. Evans? Mr. Evans? I'll have to figure out the actual syllable count on that. Maybe his mustache was grounds for him ascending into heaven. Something along those lines. He was too good for earthly folk. His mustache rose above the something. Maybe he went away on a boat. This is where we start getting into weird rhymes. I'm going to pull up Rhyme Zone here, and we'll see if Rhyme Zone can help us. Rhyme Zone is like one of the best songwriting tools of all time, if you're stuck. I don't recommend using it for everything, but it keeps you from going around in circles being like, what rhymes with folk, bloke, choke, artichoke, you know, like you can go on like that for hours and never actually find a word. And Rhyme Zone helps you find words that kind of rhyme but aren't necessarily super exact. So folk, because things don't have to rhyme exactly, you know? They just have to be pretty close and have the same vowel sounds. That's the trick. His mustache was a joke. Yeah, that would work. It might work. Broke. His mustache was too woke. That's something. Awoke, invoke. All the angels were provoked. His mustaches made the angels provoked. He went up in heavenly smoke. Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah. His mustache woke. I think I'm on smoke. I think I like that line. How do I make that fit? He was too good for earthly folk. His hair was too good? No, he was too good for earthly folk. His mustache. We could expand on the mustache later. He went up in a cloud of smoke. He went up in a heavenly smoke. Heaven. I gotta not pronounce it though. I'm gonna use one of those apostrophes that you always see in hymn books, you know? Heavenly smoke. And then we could explain that in the next verse when we start adding rhythm. So far we got. Hold on, I gotta see the whole lyrics. Quite a bit there already, actually. There was a man who lived in 1877. He had a name, but we just call him Mr. Evans. We had him for a second, then he flew away to heaven. He was too good for earthly folk. You went up in a heavenly smoke. I like where you're going with it, Brittany. The problem is songs generally have to have an equal rhythm. Otherwise, they sound weird, right? So if I were to sing, he was too good for earthly folk, so he went up in a cloud of heavenly smoke. There's too many syllables there, and it feels off balance, which is fine sometimes if you want it to feel off balance. But I feel like for that line, it's pretty set, right? He's gone up. And so it all has to do with this idea of prosody. So if we want it to be stable, then we want to have even number of syllables. And even syllable stresses, but that's a concept that's a little bit more advanced to get into. But I do like where you're going with it, with the heavenly smoke. And so if you just cut a couple words like cloud, then it does actually fit, right? What do you guys think of that? Also, it typed really weird for me, so I'm gonna fix some of the typing. Flew away. We just called him Sterling. Yeah, it works. Okay. Went up here to heavenly smoke. We can talk about his life on the earth. Yeah, I'm glad that makes sense. It's a bit of an advanced concept. It was actually when I first started writing songs before I came to Prairie. It was something that I like messed up all the time, right? My syllables would just be off by one, and it just wouldn't feel right, and I wouldn't exactly know why. And so a lot of what they actually teach us, and what I teach on my online lessons on the website, is just like different tools that we can use to polish up the garbage, like I said, and just like work out all the little kinks in the song, you know? So it's really good stuff. So we have a little intro bit. Do we want to try to write a chorus for this song, or do we want it to just be like a story song with a lot of verses? What are you guys thinking? I don't know if you guys hear Ed in the background. He's recording over there. That's great. Any thoughts? Do you guys think we should just do like verses, or do you think there should be like a chorus? Write like some sort of banging chorus so we can just like keep the story going through all the way without having any breaks. A chorus. Brittany says a chorus. Any other thoughts? Yeah, chorus. So that's probably what we should do next. So we probably need a new chord progression for that. Because we're coming off of this minor thing, right? So that really wants to pull back to the fair enough, Brittany, yeah. The biggest thing is having a hook in a chorus that people remember, right? If you guys have listened to my new single is out, 2020, the hook from that one I actually just took from the chord itself. I was just kind of goofing around on the piano. I'm not a very good piano player, so I still do a lot of like trying to figure out chords and practicing scales and stuff to try to get better. And so I was just kind of playing around with a major 7 chord for that one, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like a hook. And I've had a bunch of people tell me about that song that's stuck in their heads now. And actually, I'm staying with my girlfriend's parents, and her brother lives in the house, and he's been running around the house humming it. He can't get it out of his head. Not to brag on it or anything, but just like the idea is it's got to be something that sticks, you know? And that's a hook that like sticks with you, right? It's because it's simple, right? The idea with a hook is that it's simple. And it can be melodic or it can be lyrical or whatever, right? Or even rhythmic. Like Join the Club is like 1, 2, 3, right? And that's like you remember that rhythm because it's so syncopated and different, right? So it's about something memorable. So back to this song, we have. Yeah, the chorus can be about a stash. I like that. I think I like stash better because mustache is really hard to fit in because it's so big, you know? So this really wants to go back to the 1. I don't know if we should let it or not. I'll give you guys 2 options and see what you guys like. That's option A, or we can do. What do you guys think? Should we do like should we go from that major back to the, or that minor back to the major, or do you think we should just start something entirely new? Because we could even do like I'll expand option A a little more. Option B? Yeah, okay. It's interesting, right? Because it changes key actually. If you guys know any music, we're starting off in C, and then this F minor is actually out of the key. It's what we call the minor four. It's the term is modal interchange. I use it all the time. It's actually kind of one of my favorite chords. I can't stay away from it. And then it goes into the major again. And then I kind of built it so that it has a major sixth in it, which is an A in this case, which isn't at all in the key of C. So you kind of remember it a little more. It stands out. Okay, yeah, so we have a chord progression. That's good. Trying to think, how could we, sorry guys, it should kind of be more upright anyway. What could be the melody on that? Yeah, we can make it minor at some point. Here you go. Okay, yeah, something along those lines. Let me give it a stash. I'm at a golden stash. Something like that. That man had a golden stash and a twinkle in his eye. Twinkle in his eye. When he lived on the earth, everybody passed him by. Oh, that's something. Everybody passed him by. That man had a golden stash. Ooh, yeah, okay, yeah. I see that. That man had a golden stash. Oh, right. Not judging a book by its cover. I forgot about that. Good reminder. That man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash. And a hefty wad of cash. But he was broken up inside. They thought 'cause he did so well, they thought 'cause he did so well that he. I might stop and we'll interchange there because it kind of sounds nice to have a minor chord starting it off. It brings us back to the key of C too, which is kind of nice. That man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash, but he was broken up inside. They thought 'cause he. They thought 'cause he. They think 'cause he made it big that he had it figured out. But you can never tell the hour. You never tell. The outside from the in. The outside from the in. You never tell the inside from the out, but that doesn't rhyme quite right. But I think I like that idea of like the outside versus the in instead of judging a book by its cover, just because the book and the cover thing has been a little bit cliche. People have written about it lots, but the idea is still important, right? So if you can say the idea in a new way, people are going to look at it a little differently. If you made it big, you never crash because it rhymes with cash. Yeah, okay, that's a good thought. So where were we? That man had a golden stash, that man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash. Exactly. That man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash, but he was broken out. Something about Ben. But he was. I like that first line. That first line is sweet. Something about not judging a book by its cover. Outside from within. Yeah, maybe that could go there if we sped it up. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash. Thought if he made it big, then he could never crash. I think if we overdo this chord here, this it loses its power. So I think I'm gonna keep it on that second top. And I do like that line, Auntie Elizabeth. But I think I'm gonna change the chord in the first part. That man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash. I gotta go to the minor there. Hefty wad of cash. if he made it big, then he. But if he made it big, then he would never crash. Yeah, that's something. I like that. Let's go figure out how to combine those together. That man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash. Yeah, because it's I gotta sing it right. And a hefty wad of cash. But if you made it big, yeah, I can make that work. So, that man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash. But if he made it big, then he would never crash. But he was broken up and but he was broken up. I got like speeding it up there. Too many ashes? Oh, you mean like the rhyme ash? No, it's actually pretty okay to keep it through, generally. It just makes the rhyme scheme really stable. Something new to rhyme to? Maybe, yeah, because if we could split it in half too, we could do A, B, B, B. But if he made it big, then he would never crash. So that's all fine. We cut it off there and start a new rhyme scheme here. After crash, yeah. Yeah, so this is implied that he crashed. So maybe that's where he changes his ways. You know, you tell a story of him being this rich businessman, and then eventually he becomes this holy person who ascends into heaven. Becomes an Elijah figure. He was broke inside. Yeah, something about the out and the in with the broke. That man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash. But if he made it big, then he would never crash. He would never crash. No one could call him broke, but he was broken up inside. No one could call him broke, but he was broken up inside. Guess you can never tell. You can never tell a person from outside. Never tell a person from outside. Guess you don't know who a person is till they die. Oh, so we could keep the idea that he comes back from heaven. We could be like he's given a second chance, you know, like all those movies that people get to come back and redo it again, you know, that kind of thing. So he started off and he was can't ever judge a person from outside. Yeah, that can work. No one could call him broke. Yeah. No one could call him broke, but he was. That's the wrong melody, actually. That man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash. But he was broken up inside. No one would call him broke, but he was. Yeah, okay, I see it. No one would call him broke, but he was broken up inside. think we have to do a different thing inside if we're going to be outside, but I like that. But he was broken up and not inside. It has to be something else there, but I think that still works. No one could see his pain. No, I think I like the double meaning of broke. Because he's not broke. He has money, apparently. He has a lot of cash, right? Thanks, Brittany. Hope you subscribe and stick around. Next live stream is going to be 2 weeks from now on Thursday, the 23rd, and I'll be playing through the whole album there. But see you when I see it. Yes, though. I like the idea of the double meaning of broke because we talked about him having money. So that's a good thing. We should keep that in there. Huh. No one could call him broke when he was broken out. Can't ever judge a person from the outside. Can't ever judge a person from the outside. Oh, okay, so I gotta figure out. See, now we're in F. So we're breaking inside. Yeah, I think if we're going to use outside, though, and inside, the rhyme is side there. And that becomes what we call an identity, which generally doesn't work too well because you're rhyming side with side. It's the same word, right? Pride. Oh, okay, maybe. Yeah, that could be a cool idea. No one could call him broke, but he was broken out of pride. Broke enough to die? Because what we could do is we could have this idea of him going to heaven and coming back. So he dies in the course. No, but that doesn't translate through. That's missing some of my thought process. Pride might be better. So yeah, no one caught broke. So the question is, does it feel redundant or is it effective lexical repetition is what they call it. This idea of using the same word all the time. What's a song that does that well? This Beautiful Life. If you know that song at all, by Colony House. I covered it on the record. But it's this idea of what in the world am I doing here? What is the meaning of it all? And then the next verse starts with what again. So using the same word lots. You can emphasize it, especially if you have a different thing behind it every time, right? So that's just a thought, though. If it does seem redundant, we can remove broke. The other thing, too, is that if we're going to get stuck on this, we can save it for later and move on to a verse. And we can just write down what we have. So let me just write this down really quick. It was, that man had a golden stash. I'm also going to change stash from mustache to like a stash of stuff because I think it makes more sense. Oh, it's kind of cool that the mustache got us somewhere, you know? That's kind of a cool idea of writing with what's around you. Hefty wad of cash. Thought if you made it big, then he would never crash. He would never crash. What did we say after that? That if he made it big, then he would never crash. That's what we were on. I think it sounds good though. I actually like that line. There's no point in changing it if it ain't broke at this point. Because what we'll do is we'll keep it, and then if we end up doing a rewrite on it, if it's a song I decide to pursue or whatever, then I would change that after in a new draft, right? Because we're just trying to go for draft 0. Good thought, though. Good thought. You would never crash. I like the broken side because it's layered spiritually, and he just lost his wad of cash. Yeah, fair point. I missed your comment earlier there, Sharon, but I just saw it now out of the corner of my eye. No one would call him broke, but he's broken up inside. Yeah, I think I like that. No one would call him broke, and then we can change the last line. Would call him broke, because there's never going to be a perfect answer all the time. You just gotta kind of write something down sometimes and then just work on it later. No one would call him broke, but he was broken up inside. Guess you should never judge a person. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to introduce you to my second favorite songwriting tool, and that's thesaurus.com. And it's a beautiful thing. And I think maybe if we find a different word for outside, maybe it'll fit better than just doing outside. So like outside is the first thing I'm going to type. Sometimes you got to type in some different words to try to get it out. Never judge a book by its cover. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the cover line because it is a little bit cliche. But I really like the concept behind it. So maybe we could do cover somehow. But it would have to rhyme with what's before it. We'd have to change inside to something that rhymes with cover. Hover? I don't really like how it works. External. So you never judge. Guess a surface. Guess a surface look. Can't see what we hide. Guess a surface look can't see what we hide. We try to hide somehow. Guess we can't see the things. Guess I can't see the future clear. We're just stealing lines for 2020 now. Guess we can't see. Mind you, I suppose if I steal from my own copyright, then it's fine. Something about what you can see. Objective versus anecdotal. Ooh, big words. Man, who knew I had such a smart girlfriend? Shout out to Lila. She's the best. Guess we can't see the things that people try to hide. You could buy a stairway to heaven. I don't think anybody's ever used that line, right? Let's try that whole chorus then. That man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash. Thought if he made it big, then he would never crash. No one would call him broke, but he was broken up inside. Guess we can't see the things that people try to hide. Guess we can't see the things that people try to hide. Yeah, that's not bad. I think I'm going to repeat that line because it adds a little bit of instability that way because we have an uneven number of lines. And so in your head, you're counting lines. Jekyll and Hyde. Oh, your dad you're talking about. Oh, okay, gotcha. Never judge the surface like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yeah. Yeah, hi, girl. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That could maybe fit if we can get the syllables to work. So we can see the things people try to hide. I'm trying to remember. Dr. Jekyll was the sane one, right? And Mr. Hyde was the crazy. Is that correct? Because it could be something along the lines of like, guess every Jekyll has himself a hidden Hyde, or something like that. We could do something like that. Oh, I can't remember which one's the crazy one. You guys remember? Sorry, just gonna paste one more. Yes. Which one's which? I'm right. Hyde is the crazy one. Okay, gotcha. So that could work too. I'm gonna write that in because we've been on this course for a little while, so we can move on to something else. I'm gonna write that in as a thought. One of the biggest tools I use for songwriting is brackets, and I have like any different idea, I'll just put in a bracket, and then I'll decide later which I like more generally, or once I get a critique on the song. So large part of what songwriters do is we kind of get together and we critique songs. Zach and I, who was in here before, I think he's gone now. I think he had to go do something else. But Zach and I have done a lot of critiquing of each other's stuff, back and forth. So that's kind of why we were really communicating well. We kind of have the same lingo. He's another really good songwriter. You should go check him out on YouTube and Spotify and all that stuff if you got it. He did his EP last year here at Prairie, and it's pretty mint. He's working on a new album now, and I'm really excited for it. I don't know if he's moved his timeline around with this whole COVID thing happening, but that'd be a question for him. But I don't think he's here anymore. I think he left. But go check him out. Really good stuff. Okay, brackets complete. So we have a little bit here. I'm gonna go back to that little ad-lib intro thing and just play it again so that we can kind of remember what the chord progression you had for a verse was. There was a man who lived in 1877. He had a name, but We just called him Mr. Evans. We had him for a second, then he flew away to heaven. He was too good for ugly folk. He went up in heaven smoke. And then we went to that man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash. Thought he made it big that he would never crash. No one called him broke, but he was broken up inside. Guess you should never judge. Sorry, I gotta read it here. Guess we can see the things that people try to hide. So traditionally, we come back to this chord progression here, our verse chord progression. And so we kind of need an idea of this man's story, right? This is kind of where the story starts to come. So I guess we got to figure out, how did he make his money? What was breaking him up inside? And generally in songwriting, we talk about boxes, right? So our first verse, you get just a little bit of information about him. We know that his name is Evans. We know that he died and went to heaven. So that's a big thing. We actually kind of get the ending there. But that's kind of like a time business, right? So that's our first box. And the second box, we got to reveal a little bit more. We got to get something a little more spicy about him, right? So something like, you know, how did he make his money? Was he like did he do something illegal? Was he some sort of adventurer who found like a gateway to heaven or something? That kind of thing. Have you lost the sound there, Auntie Elizabeth? Am I just moving my lips meaninglessly? Maybe check the mute on your computer. I might have got hit by accident, or your TV, or whatever you're streaming on. Your phone, maybe. That is weird. That is a little bit bizarre. Huh. But anyway, so yeah, we kind of need to figure out a story for him. Any thoughts, any ideas, anybody? Of like what direction? My only thought is like maybe he was a crime boss or something, you know. That mustache, it looks like he could be a mob leader. Or like or some sort of adventurer who finds some sort of gateway. That's the only things that come to my mind initially. What do you guys think? Any other creative thoughts? Yeah, we'll see, Elizabeth. We talked about how he started out and how he ended, but not anything in between or how he died. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. If we do 3 verses, we can have like the middle be, the second box be his like his life, right? And then how he died can kind of be the last thing, you know, our big box. So we have a little box and a big box. So it should be something in between. Because we already know he died, like we know it's coming, right? But how did he do it? Let me guys a second to think there. I'll think too. When I write, I usually think by playing the piano. It probably takes me longer to write songs that way, but you know, These days I have plenty of time, so I'm not complaining. That is the question. Was he a good guy or a bad guy? He went to heaven in the end, so he has to end good, right? So we could do a redemption story if he's a bad guy. Or he could just be like this really good guy. Everybody thought he was really happy and he wasn't satisfied, so he did something. I like how we started off with Sherry saying this should be a happy song. And we got all these minor chords left and right. Sorry, Sherry. I think I might just make the executive decision and say that he's a bad guy that gets redeemed in the end. Somehow. He does something. Well, obviously, if we're all Christians, right, he has to put his faith in Jesus somehow. So he'll meet Jesus somewhere along the way. Maybe he runs into like some old man. Except I tend to use that device a little bit too much. Some old man tells him the truth. So let's make him a bad guy. Something about good to know. What if we went like, I don't know if any of you guys have heard the song by the Beatles. Paul McCartney wrote it. Rocky Raccoon. He talks about, it's this whole story of this guy and his, it's like a showdown for this girl named Nancy. And then he loses, Rocky Raccoon loses. And he comes back and fights him again after finding Gideon's Bible. So we can do something like that, where like he gets hurt somehow and then he has like this moment of redemption. But maybe he doesn't pull through. Oh, the faith of a child. Okay, yeah, I like that. That's going somewhere. But first, a little setup. Do something like. Now heaven's lived a life. Full of something in sin. Faithful child. Heaven's lived his life. Heaven's lived his life. Full of sin, always transgressing. But but he couldn't stop himself from a little second guessing. That's something. I'm gonna write that down just in case, because I'll forget it like in 2 seconds. Evans lived his life full of a sin, full of transgressing, but he couldn't stop himself from a little second guessing. Hide and pride, yeah. I see where that's coming from. Yeah, we can change the rhyme scheme again here now because we have a rhyme, right? So we can do A, A, B, B. See if it works together here. Hold on. Evans lived his life full of sin, full of transgression, but he couldn't help himself from a little second guessing. And when Dr. Jekyll dug right down, he found himself his hide. Maybe it could be a question more than a statement. Could the grace of God even redeem this old man's pride? He could ask himself that. Redeem this old man's pride. When he had a Jekyll and a Hyde. When Evans dug down deep, he found a Jekyll and a Hyde. And he asked himself again, could even God redeem his pride? Yeah, I think there's something there. I think there's definitely something there. He dug down and found a Jekyll and a Hyde. So he's full of sin. The next question is, what is his sin, though? Because if you don't give it some details, then it just kind of it comes out too general, you know? So it has to do something with this money that he has, obviously. Actually, you know what? I think the Jekyll and Hyde and the pride thing could go into a third verse. And then we could even incorporate the child there too, right? I'm gonna write that down. Third verse. Because I think we need a little more detail before we go back to the course, would be my thought. I don't know if you guys agree or not. Feel free to disagree with me at any time. I'm not, the end-all, be-all on songwriting, that's for sure. Jekyll and Hyde in the third verse. Ed in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but he's recording over there. It's great. Jekyll and Hyde third verse. Kid explains that grace is accessible. We'll obviously say it more poetically than that, but he couldn't stop himself from a little second guessing. Which means we need some more details then. Sherry said something. It was all about him, and he was egocentric because you mentioned pride. Yes, okay. That's a good point. Yeah, he's very self-centered. He has pride. And obviously he's screwing other people over to get this money that he has. And it's not satisfying him. Could it keep him satisfied? So far, I'm just going to play that again because I need to kind of hear where it's going to hear where we could go with it. Heaven's lived a life full of sin, full of transgressing. But he couldn't help himself couldn't stop himself from a little second guessing. Okay. My phone keeps going to sleep on me. It's rather annoying. He couldn't stop himself from a little second guessing. He lived life for himself. And he took all that he could. But it didn't make him happy. Didn't do him any good. Yay or nay? What do you guys think? Self-reliance, self-sufficiency kind of thing. Yeah. Let's try this as a whole. And lived his life full of sin, full of transgressing. But he couldn't help himself, didn't stop himself from a little second guessing. He lived life for himself, and he took all that he could. But it didn't make him happy, didn't do him any good. Well, not spicy. Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, I mean, didn't make him happy, right? Didn't make him happy, didn't do him any good. And then, because that would be where we transition back into the chorus. That man had a golden stash and a hefty water can. Said if he made it big, then he would never crack. No one would call him broke, but he was broken up inside. So you can't see the things that people try to hide. Cause we can't see the things people try to hide. that because it's a weird transition because you gotta change keys. Yes, we can see the things that people try to hide. And lived his life full of sin, full of transgression, but he couldn't stop himself from a little second guessing. He lived life for himself, and he took all that he could, but it didn't make him happy, it didn't do him any good. Did we use inside in the course? Yeah, we did. Okay. So reusing inside in the verse probably wouldn't end super well. It would seem unintentionally repeated would be my guess. Of course, you never know until you try these things, but that would be my guess on it. Evans lived his life. So we know his sin. We know that he's not happy. We know that he's second guessing himself. When Colin broke, he was broken up inside, and he's hiding something. One night, as he went to sleep, nope, that's the wrong rhyme scheme in my head. Evans lived his life full of sin, full of transgression. Evans lived his life. No. There's a man who lived in 1877. Sure, he had a name who he was calling Mr. Evans. Hold on for a second. Way to heaven. It's too good for earthly folk. Look in the heavens. Didn't make him happy, didn't do him any good. I think his redemption, because we also talk about how good he was and how much we liked him, right? And so I think part of his redemption should be him doing good, him turning his life around, like a Zacchaeus kind of story, right? Life just wasn't filling. Yeah, exactly. That kind of idea. And so he turns his attention outwards from where it was inward, right? He gets rid of his egocentrism and he goes out. But I like the idea. We had written down about Jekyll and Hyde and this kid. Jekyll and Hyde. How could we get that in there? One night, as he lied awake, one night he searched within, he found his Jekyll had a Hyde. And we could do pride there. Yeah, we could do pride there. As he looked within, he found his Jekyll had a Hyde. One night as he looked within, he found his Jekyll had a Hyde. He lay awake at night and wondered. Yeah, I think that might just take up too much space, though, Dad. That was my thought too. One night as he lied awake, he found his Jekyll had his Hyde. Actually, yeah, that works. As he lied awake. Yeah, I think I like that. I was thinking in my head that it doesn't tell us that he was looking inside. But since we said he found his Jekyll had a Hyde, there's obviously some sort of searching. It's implied, right? Because the art of songwriting is often just condensing stuff. That's kind of the trick. So one night as he lied awake, he found his Jekyll had a Hyde. I'm going to ride pride with Hyde here because I don't think we used pride yet, did we? No, we have not used pride, so we can use pride. One night as he lied awake, he found his Jekyll had a Hyde. I was thinking that too, but that's the wrong way, Dad. Oh, well, both these men reside. Yeah, okay, I think I like that better. I'm going to keep that. One night as he lied awake, he found his Jekyll had a Hyde. He looked into the mirror and asked how. I think, yeah, he saw his Jekyll had. Yeah, that's what I have right now, Sherry. But yeah, I agree. So his Jekyll had a Hyde. So his Jekyll had a Hyde. He looked in the mirror. How can both these men reside? I think I like that idea, but maybe he's both men be inside. Yeah, I see. Like I like the idea, but I think more the idea should be that Hyde is taken over, right? How the evil he's more evil than good at this point. Also, we changed scene there, which, yeah, actually that works. Changing scene gives it some motion. When Nancy lied awake, he found the Jekyll. His Jekyll had a Hyde. He looked into the mirror to see the monster. Did we use outside yet? The monster lived outside. So let's make sure that sings good. One night as he lied awake, he found his Jekyll had a Hyde. He looked into the mirror to see the monster lived outside. That's how both men can reside. I'm gonna write them both down. How can both men still reside? I don't know if we can fit the kid in here. That's the only thing. Because we could do Grace next. Grace and Faith kind of rhyme. We could also make this a double verse if we need some more room. One night as he lied awake, he found his Jekyll had a Hyde. He looked into the mirror to see the monster lived outside. Or how can both these men reside? Or inside. Yeah, I'll put in brackets inside. Be inside. Have them both then be inside. He was looking for grace. The monster was his pride. Yeah. Except if we're going to keep the rhyme scheme in verse 2, which is different than verse 1 or the intro, but the intro is kind of its own thing, so it doesn't have to be the same just because it's the same chord progression. But if we want to keep the rhyme scheme, then we need to start a new rhyme scheme, which isn't necessary. We don't have to keep the rhyme scheme, but it can kind of be nice to keep consistency. One night as he lied awake, he found his Jekyll had to hide. He looked into the mirror to see the monster lived outside. Monster lived outside. He cried out in his anguish. It was a simple cry of faith. It was that simple cry in which he found his grace. Which he found his grace. Yeah, that idea is not awful. Looked into the mirror to see the monster lived outside. Now I remember what I just sang. He cried out in his anguish. And he cried out in his anguish. It was a simple cry of faith. And in that simple cry, he found amazing grace. Dennis, welcome. Dennis is just a beautiful man. He's my songwriting professor here at Prairie College. And yeah, he's a phenomenal songwriter and composer. Go check him out, DennisNassar.com. I think that's your website, right? Put it in the chat anyway. He's got some really cool compositions. He's written some really cool hit songs in Brazil. He worked with the mega artist Sandy, who's not super huge here, but like in Southern America, she's like huge. And so yeah, he's a phenomenal songwriter. So Dennis, so far we've started writing a song about this man here, who I found in one of the practice rooms, in the keyboard room there. And we wrote, Zach was in here and he gave us a chord progression with, he's using the major minor 7. So it comes right after, you play the 4 major 7, and then you go to the major minor 7, resolving to the 6. That's kind of the main character. And then we wrote this chorus thing, and it's got the F major 7, G dominant 7, and then it goes to the minor 7, then you do a D minor, which is the minor 2, or minor, it kind of switches keys, it's weird. But the really defining feature of this one is that it has a modal interchange for the major 6. That A. Oh, it kind of changes keys, so I don't know. It's weird, but that's kind of what we got going on. And the whole song idea is that he's a man who was very self-centered, very full of pride, and he did very well for himself in the world, but he wasn't happy. And so it's kind of like a redemption story of this guy, just so that you know what you're jumping into. But it's really good to have you here. Okay, Simple Cry, He Found Amazing Grace. I'm just going to sing that again to make sure it all sings right. One night as he lied awake, he found his Jekyll hide. Looked into the mirror and saw the monster lived outside. Cried out in his anguish, it was a simple cry of faith. In that simple cry, he found amazing grace. Found amazing grace. And so he changed his life around. So he changed his life around. He changed his life around. You got better from the worst. He got the better of his worst. Yeah, there we go. Does that make sense to you guys? The better of his worst? Or does that sound like he's gotten worse? What do you guys think? So he changed. So his life. So he changed his life around. That's what it's supposed to be. So he changed his life around. He got the better of his worst. I'm thinking worth would rhyme good with worst, or like go good with worst. So it could be like, so he changed his life around and got the better of his worst. And he finally found out. Burst, yeah, burst would work. And he finally found out. Got the better of his worst. He finally found out. What all the stuff he saved up. Finally found out all he had. All he'd had. This sounds like self-improvement. Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. And that's not what's happening here. Yes, this is true. Yeah, because it makes it sound like he changed his life around. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a good thought. Changed his life around. He got amazing grace. Yeah, I think we got to take that a different direction. You're totally right. It does sound like self-improvement. That's not what we're going for. New direction. that's the beauty of having co-writers and stuff, is you can kind of get out in a direction that's like not quite where you want to go with it, and your co-writer can kind of bring you around. So his life was changed around. Yeah, okay. So his life was changed around. Changed around. And he finally knew the worth. Finally knew the worth of all the things he kept around. So his life was changed around, and he finally knew the worth of all the things he kept around. The pleasures of this earth. And so he gave it all away. And so he'd give it all away? He gave it all away. What do you guys think? So he gave it all away. So he gave it all away. What's his turning point? That is an excellent question. What is his turning point? At this point, he was lying awake, he looked inside, and he cried out for grace. Gave, yeah, I think gave is better as well. It's more immediate. What is his turning point? Yes. What is his turning point? Look into the mirror and see the monster on the outside. I think it's this idea of him seeing himself as a monster and needing to change that. But there's not really a clear event that made that happen, right? I don't know if it's something that we need to add in. What do you guys think? Do you think it's something that we should try to fit in there, or do you think there's already enough in verse 3, verse 2? We'll call it verse 2, to get us where we are now. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I was just reading the chat there. Let's see. So he gave it all away. And for this might be a little too cliche. Let me know what you guys think. In a while, when you look into the mirror, when he looked into the mirror, he finally saw a smile. Yeah, Dennis, good question. The macro. So in songwriting, we talk about micro and macro sometimes. And yeah, I can sing verse 2 again in a second here. So the idea is we have a lot of details, but we also have an overarching story, right? And so basically what our boxes are right now, Dennis, is that we have an intro. And the intro is actually, it's like this ad liberato section. And it's like ahead of time. And so he actually dies in the first verse. And so it's all about, like, it's basically just introducing us to this man, and it's an overarching story, right? And so then we find out that he was rich. So then that's kind of, we go right into the course after that. And then verse 1, we figure out that he got rich being a bad person and screwing other people over. Verse 2, we have him realizing that he's a horrible person. Yes, so we have him realizing he's a horrible person. And then verse 3 is the change in that. And that before he dies, he becomes a good person again. Does that make sense to you, Dennis? Yeah, so Sherry's saying it's a little bit, little obvious. Fair point. That was just the first thing that came to my head, so it's not necessarily the best line. So he gave it all away for the first time in a while. When he looked into the mirror, he finally saw a smile. Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll come back to that line. I'll play verse 2 now. One night as he lied awake, he found his Jekyll had a hide. He looked into the mirror to see the monster lived outside. Cried out in his anguish, and was a simple cry of faith. And that simple cry he found, and in that simple cry he found amazing grace. Sorry guys, that was really rough. I haven't practiced this at all, believe it or not. And in that simple cry he found amazing grace. So yeah, there's not necessarily an exact event that's a turning point for him, other than just his self-contemplation. I don't know if you want to add something like that in. I was also thinking about it, and we probably need to write like a course B, for it to make sense at the end. Because if we sang the negative chorus after he's redeemed, then it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So we probably have to redo that. But first, we should probably finish the last verse. For the first time in a while, that could work. So we gave it all away is kind of where we were at with good lines. And so he gave it all away. It could be like the parable of the man who finds a treasure in a field. We can go that route. So he gave it all away for the treasure he might find. So he gave it all away for the treasure he might find. He gave it all away. And joy was all that crossed his mind. What do you guys think? He gave it all away for the treasure he might find. He gave it all away, and joy was all that crossed his mind. Pearl of greatest price. Yeah, ice and I, they kind of work because they're the same vowel sound, right? It's the AI, the diphthong. Some little Englishy word for you there. Pearl of greatest price. Joy was all that crossed his mind. Yes, okay. The joy that he found. Two Christianese. Are you saying that your line is two Christianese or my line is two Christianese? There's a lot of Christianese. You're right. And if you talk to me, you know how I feel about Christianese. Yeah, my line's pretty Christianese too, though. You got a point. The treasure he might find is like straight Bible talk, which there's nothing wrong with, but I find that it doesn't fit into songs very well, and it's not the most creative way to write lyrics, you know. Yeah, at this point though, it kind of depends on what you guys are feeling, because I would basically say what we have here is a fairly comfortable draft 0, and then it would kind of go through different songwriters as and like for critiques. And the one thing we could do actually is we could get a critique if Dennis is available right now. Dennis, I don't know what you're up to, but maybe I could FaceTime you and we could play through the song and get a critique from you, because you haven't been here for the whole writing process. But that would be the idea that I have. But if you guys want to just keep going and try to write something a little bit better for that, we can do that too. It's entirely up to you guys. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Yeah, I think Zacchaeus is what I had in mind when I was writing the last verse. That's fair. He had a lot of money. The lost was found. Yeah, maybe. Lost was found. Yeah, I think that tends to get into Christianese a little bit too. Because what you could say is like the treasure he might find, and then he didn't expect that he would be. Yeah, let me text you the lyrics real quick, Dennis. And we'll see, like as a whole, this way, how it's working as a whole, that kind of thing. Dennis, there's also there's a couple of brackets in the lyrics, so those are like alternatives kind of thing, but you know how that goes. Dennis Baptista. There it is, Dennis. I don't have any chords over that yet, but Dennis got it. Lovely. Dennis, do you want to FaceTime so we can kind of hear your response a little better? Or we can do like a WhatsApp thing? Okay, sweet. Just 1 second here. I'll call him. Dennis is on another call. Oh no. Did he try to call me? No, okay, here we go. It's ringing now. Lovely. Hey, Dennis, how's it going? People, meet Dennis. Here he is. The beauties of technology, eh? Oh, yeah, you're getting a bit of a backlog, eh? That's great. So, yeah, I'm going to have to turn off the video when I actually play it because the lyrics are on here. Although, actually, I can maybe turn the lyrics on the computer and then that'll be a little bit easier. A, with an intro. 1 second here, guys. Okay. I'm just gonna up the font here so I can actually see what I'm seeing. Font in Biggin. There we go. That's pretty easy to read. Okay, lovely. So yeah, the form we're going with is A B kind of thing. So it's like A B A B A A B, but it's like B2. But you always change. No, so it is. There's 2 courses, and then the last course would change, but we haven't done the change yet. But we'd make the positive and negative kind of thing. So yeah, let's sing it. I just want to check in with the chat there real quick. Yeah, cool tech, eh? All right, let's see. Yeah, perfect. There was a man who lived in 1877. Got the wrong words. He had a name, but we just called him Mr. Evans. We had him for a second, then he flew away to heaven. He was too good for earthly folk. He went up in the heavenly smoke. That man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash. But if you made it big, then he would never crash. No one would call him broke, but sorry, I'm having a hard time reading it. He was broken up inside, 'cause we can't see the things that people try to hide. Heaven lived his life full of sin, full of transgressing, but he could never stop himself from a little second guessing. He lived life for himself, sorry, and he took all that he could, but it didn't make him happy. Didn't do him any good. That man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash. But if he made it big, then he would never crash. No one would call him broke when he was broken up inside. Guess we can't see things that people try to hide. Guess we can't see the things that people try to hide. night as the night awake, felt his jackal had a hide. Looked into the mirror, see the monster lived outside. Looked into the mirror, cried out in his anguish. It was a simple cry of faith, and in that simple cry, he found amazing grace. So his life was changed around, and he finally knew the word of all the things he kept around, all the pleasures of the earth. So he gave it all away for the treasure he might find. Yeah, he gave it all away. And joy was all that crossed his mind. That man had a golden stash and a hefty wad of cash. Now if he made it big, then he would never crash. No one would call him broke, but he was broken up inside. Till he gave it all away and found life. Till he gave it all away for abundant life. Something like that, anyway. It's a little bit rough. Yeah, it's crazy. It was a really fun experience writing with everybody too, because a lot of those lines like came right out of what people were saying, right? So it was a big group effort. So what are your critiques, Dennis? Lay it on us.
It was too good for earthly folk. I think that's pretty cool set up for what comes next, right? Then you're going to say because it starts saying it was too good, and then you actually start explaining that it wasn't that good.
Right.
So that's not unexpected. So that's good. Yes, considering it's an A B, your B would carry usually carries the main message of your song, but the way you're treating the B in this song is not quite that way, which is fine.
Yeah.
You're highlighting a specific part of the story because you changed that one night. Where's your B2? Your B2 is one night?
Yeah, no, sorry, B2 isn't written down yet, so you don't have it there in your lyrics. We just came up with it. Yeah.
So you haven't written the B2 yet?
No, I haven't written it down, so I kind of just improvised it a little bit there. But basically, it's the idea is it's a positive spin of B1.
Okay. Even with this whole structure there to show us a little more what was that like? Because it seems like you're studying story, right? Like there was a man who lived in that's pretty detailed, right? 1877, his name was Mr. Evans. So like those are details. And then I sort of gets to universal kind of to general, no? Like same, vaccine.
We got away from the details a bit.
No, like happy. So maybe it could go to a very interesting direction if you could describe a little more, show us what it is.
Right.
So how does a life food scene of transgressing look like a little bit? How do you eat Evan's lead?
Right. What did he do?
So,
Yeah, and all we really hear from that is that he just took everything he could, right? But how did he go about that?
yeah, so saying that he lived like a life full of sin. That's very general. I don't know what that is. I know what sin is, but it could get more interesting in terms of imagery or precise way that you went for that.
Mm-hmm.
You even like to, you know, if you're like, I don't know, to charge a little more on certain stuff or to help. No, you could give us a couple of examples.
Right. Was he doing it wrong? Right. Okay. Yeah, I got you.
But then I could imagine the story because you know what I mean, like that's too general, and he could stop himself for a little second guessing. He lived life for himself and took all he could. Yeah, so all those lines maybe could maybe that's a very good structure. Like I want to say here that he lived a life full of sin and transgressing, and that he took all he could. Then you think examples of that, of how he did that. I think it would be fun to on that verse to actually describe situations, what he used to do.
Right. Yeah, I think more of a story than a general.
Yeah, just one melody.
Mm-hmm.
To give the same expectation in your raising at the very beginning, right?
Right.
You're getting so much details. And that's pretty cool because you start creating this story, you almost can visualize it.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly gets too broad.
Right. So if you bring it in, then it'll have more details and it'll paint more of a picture, right?
Yeah, maybe he was a gambler and like what that sinful life is, because we know everyone is injured or everyone's sin or everyone.
Right.
But
what was his issue? Yeah, okay.
Yes, and we could relate a little more to him. And
sure.
then one night, as he lied awake, he found that was the cool connection there. He wasn't here and just see the monster that's outside.
That was the one and only Carl McLeod. Good line.
That's fun. Let's throw in the chat to something like he saw their mother's tombstone, like Amazing Grace or something. Again, that's more. I mean, it doesn't have to be that, but I like that because it's more descriptive, right? Again, it simply found Amazing Grace. It would be nice, again, to continue the story. You raise the expectation.
Right.
A very descriptive story, a detailed story. So even he cried out, that's cool. That's detailed, right? That's specific action. And then that single cry found Amazing Grace. So maybe cool. Is this verse about the turnaround?
Yeah, exactly. That's the idea. Is the third verse there is supposed to be the turnaround. I like what Sherry said here in the chat too. She says that maybe he could be using stuff or like drugs or something like that. She said he could be using everything and he still felt empty, right? Like everything else.
Again, at this point, you can have a very good idea of your boxes, right?
Oh yeah.
At that point, it's good to make sure each subject is on their specific box,
right?
Group of a part of the story. So it's like still using drugs and nothing changed. That you're still in your first.
Right. Yeah, that would go up in the first box. I think is what her thought is. Yeah.
Yeah. So then if you decided your that verse there, second verse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, third verse, I guess.
It depends how you count the intro, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the intro. Sorry, yeah. So like second verse, if you decide the second verse is already to turn around, then you should focus. That's sounds like the second belongs to me, right?
Right.
Like further around me, he found something or something found him or no.
His turnaround. Yeah.
So it would be cool if that same level of detail would have an intro related to the first one for what he does or what he used to do that all that to what precisely he did to stack all that amount of cash legally or not in a mean way.
Right.
Simple way. And then on the that verse again, a certain amount of detail that we can see how that amazing grace found him.
Sure.
Yeah, so that verse becomes like a turnaround. So I think it's fine to that makes sense to start with like when I think right away so he realized the monster, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's good. And that's a creative way of saying that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool. And he created accusations of word of faith. So his life was changed around and he finally knew the words of the world and things.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're going with it, but more detail you're saying, eh, overall.
Yeah, just because of the expectation you built for the intro,
it's a story song that we've changed into a general song.
Yeah, it turned like from one to see like it didn't make it happen.
Right.
So yeah, I would just take a look at all the general terms and see if any of those have the potential of being or would benefit from being more specific and keep building your details or your understanding based on your intro.
For sure. Okay, thank you for everything, Dennis. That was great. I will, I'll address that to the stream, and then, it'll be great.
No, this is great. Everyone did a good job. You did a great job, Josh. The melody is pretty cool. Like the chord progression, the contrast you're building between sections, it's coming well, really cool. I think even the idea of having an intro is pretty cool. Like builds that atmosphere.
That was kind of Zach's doing there. He wanted to start it off without any time, so I was like, oh well, yeah, let's do that as like an intro section then. Eh? So no, it's really cool having so many ideas coming together and so many different thought processes, and working in this setting is really interesting.
Now, if there's something that you really want to highlight, maybe even shorten that up and get more.
Yeah, condense it more so it's more hooky. Even.
To the point.
Yeah.
Long section.
Mm-hmm.
But not any longer B section. Just like it takes a different character instead of highlighting very much one idea. Kind of highlight a portion of the story that is important to be highlighted. Yeah, I get what you're coming from. All right, awesome. Thank you, Dennis. I'll see you when I see you again. I guess Thursday probably, eh? Yes. Yeah, Thursday. All right, we'll see you in class. Thanks for popping in. All right, talk to you later. Bye. So that was really cool that Dennis was able to come and give us a critique. So generally, once you get a song to your draft 1 point or draft 0, depends how you call it, but it's pretty much the same thing. But once you get yourself to your draft 1, you bring it to a couple people and get their opinions. Basically what he was saying, I don't know if you guys could hear him very well. It wasn't really coming up very well in the meter. But basically what he was saying was that it's a good, like everything we're saying is good and the content is good, but that more detail would help it be more of a story, right? It would be more, more of a story song than an abstract song. So yeah, more concrete. And so generally what we do at this point is you'd sit down for, another songwriting session and you do a rewrite.
We don't really have time for that today because I'm running low on time here. But so that's kind of, yeah, some of the songwriting process. I figured it'd be a fun way to pass an afternoon with you guys and to connect with you. I hope you guys enjoyed it all. I don't know if you guys are interested or not. If you're interested, maybe send me an email or like a private message about doing a draft too for this song, about redoing it. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I'll just do a little plug for myself. Website's joshuabellingham.com. I'm assuming that's how you all got here. The EP is coming out in 2 weeks on Thursday. April 23rd, we're going to be doing the live stream in here. And then the album will be out everywhere at midnight. So technically April 24th. I hope you guys can all hear it and enjoy it. Yeah, I'm glad you guys got to see some of the process, Andy. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully we can do it again sometime. And with that, I'm signing off. See ya.